This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, step forward. Here's your cheat sheet.
Oh, thank you.
Closer, Scott. I don't want to raise your hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Jacob Ratliff,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the state of Oregon,
and the state of Oregon,
and that I will faithfully perform,
and that I'll faithfully perform,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
the duties of police officer of the city of Vernonia,
the duties of the police officer in the city of Vernonia,
so long as I may continue in that capacity.
so long that I may continue in that capacity.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
I'm trying really hard not to poke you.
Oh, you're supposed to do it really hard. Of yourself.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Welcome aboard.
Congratulations.
Why do I cry at
Everyone.
Not even.
Right. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Good luck. You need him to sign?
Do you want to do one of these for your mom?
The certificate.
Really neat, thank you.
Yeah, the back, I forgot.
I was trying to hold it as high so she wouldn't have to even.
Be better to step.
I know.
Yeah, I think going over would be better.
Okay.
Lower body
Sure?
is fine.
Those are for you.
Just all over.
Congratulations.
Yes, terrible up here.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Jack.
Yeah.
Have a fun dinner.
Thank you.
What, was you have audience?
Yes.
Fascinating about this
You're
agenda.
all welcome to stay, but we don't expect it.
Have the party now.
He's got to be to work tomorrow.
Doing dinner. That was awesome.
Well, they could have cake and ice cream.
They could. And they don't share. When it comes to the table, Chris, with us?
Should I?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want.
Oh, yeah, staff. Have get a nameplate.
A little bit.
No, he needs one now. All right.
I'd like to open the regular November 6, 2023 council meeting to order at 7 PM. All rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, any additions or corrections to the agenda? If not, would anyone like to make a motion to approve the agenda tonight?
So move.
So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Counselor Norman.
Counselor Webb,
Aye.
Counselor Ash,
Hi.
Mayor Hilbert,
Aye.
Counselor Wagner.
Aye.
Counselor Normand,
Aye.
motion carried.
Okay, are there any presentations? None. Mayor's report? None. Council committee meeting reports.
I have
Dale?
one, Public Works Committee met there at the end of the month. Michael Calhoun's going to step down from
Oh,
the committee.
okay.
Around the first of the year. He wasn't super firm, but
Okay.
he said his other obligations are getting too much. So. We reviewed the dark sky, and I know everybody was aware. Michael's been talking to West Oregon Electric. He finally got to talk to the manager, and then I think probably the operations person, and pretty much come to find out that the lights that they're going to now are almost the specification of what we want. I think they're buying the 3,000 Kelvin, and I think the suggestion is there's a 2,700 Kelvin is the target. So, and they talked to the manufacturer and they said that's not an issue that, and so it sounds like it's something that's agreeable.
Because they switch out streetlights.
As they replace.
Okay.
We're not talking about going through town and
Right.
changing it all. Michael did send me some documentation and then he said that there's security lights that flush mount to the side of a building. He says those are currently 4,000 Kelvin. And those can go down to 3,000, which would be in the range. And then there is a uplight shield that can go with those.
And that's for like new buildings? Because we already have the code that says they have to aim down. They can't have those in new buildings here now.
They can't have those type on it.
No, you have to aim you have to aim down.
Well, that's something we'll have to look at. It's,
How much of the code?
yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know if counselors wanted to see what the difference is in the Kelvin rating, but, so anyhow, sounds like we're on a good track there. I don't know. The city needs to formalize anything with our provider,
So
not,
is the city, is that something the council's wanting to force WOA to do? Or like, or
maybe it's just.
anything sort of
Suggestion.
like this is what we want.
This is what we'd prefer.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what happens if they are not able to do that? We're okay with that? That's where I'm going, I guess.
Yeah, but it sounds like it's not an issue, so.
Okay.
But I guess it sounds like it can be a mutual agreement real easy, but how do we memorialize something like this? This is what we're targeting, this is why we're doing it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's a resolution or what.
Okay. I can see how other jurisdictions have done it with their provider.
The proclamation,
Proclamation, yeah,
maybe.
I don't know.
But I can look at other cities that have
Yeah,
kind of,
because I think Forest Grove,
okay.
I think he talked to Forest Grove. And, I mean, it's just a matter of setting a target and having an understanding why we're doing what we're doing. So,
But I guess my question is, does council know why we would do that? That has not come out of Public Works to council,
council.
any sort of thing. So
And we could do that. We could
Maybe a
have.
letter of recommendation or a presentation by them of why.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll feed that back to them.
Because then I'm not kind of championing it because I don't exactly understand. I haven't had enough time to delve into exactly why he wants one versus the other. What they do to people.
Warmer light.
Yeah, there's reasons why, but there's reasons why he's proposing the public spaces have those or don't have the others. And I haven't sat in through his thing yet to hear him out and understand it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they also discussed public work standards. Sheila had reached out to some other cities and was talking to them. It sounds like other cities are very similar situation as us. It's kind of here and there, but everybody kind of likes what they have and they're not wanting to spend the money for what it's worth. And so Sheila says, I think we should just drop this issue.
Oh,
So Public Works dropping that one.
Okay.
The storm drain markers were installed and some of them will be probably where they'll get demoed, but we just figured they wanted to get them out,
yeah.
start spreading the
Saw those.
Brought back the coal tar issue again. Michael is again thinking that it's not that much of an issue
Yeah.
in this side of the country.
We thought we'd list it as a not allowed substance in our bid for the SCA
And I did,
for the chip seal.
talk to,
Eric, 5-star?
no, I talked to TFT,
Oh, Joe.
Joe Hammonds. And he says he's not aware of any of their stuff
Yeah, I think it's a east of the Rockies thing.
Yeah.
We can put it in the
But we
bid
could
no matter what.
our bid.
Yeah.
So they're suggesting just drop that issue too at this time, so.
Okay.
And then George talked about some US free grant program. He said he talked to you about it, so,
Good.
okay. Well, I'm
And I see it.
not sure how good of a fit it was gonna be for us, so,
No, I think we need to have that type of project.
yeah.
But we know it's out there.
Okay, that was pretty much it.
Okay.
Thank you, Dale.
The Parks Committee met. They had their presentation from Steve Whiteman about his proposal for the pavilion that he's been also posting on social media and came and talked to us about. And so they were like, well, should this go to council first or blessing? And I was like, well, we kind of sent them to you. So I think we all were kind of wanting them to propose what happens with whatever their idea is for the area formerly known as the grandstands. So they're kind of starting some preliminary work on that, reaching out to Cornelius, where his kind of one that he's inspired by is, try to get an idea what the costs were for that, and then talking to other groups like pickleball players about the height requirements and things like that. And then they're going to start, I think, at the next meeting, really hashing out if this is the direction they're going to go to propose something. They're where there's no funding, and that would all be grant driven. They pushed back the November meeting a week to the 5th Wednesday this month, and they are canceling December.
Okay.
Holidays. All right, so that was pretty much it. Oh, stepping stone guy,
Richard.
Richard Stein, also came, but was not on the agenda. That hadn't like really been communicated to anybody, so he's coming back next month as well,
Oh, okay.
or this month now, yeah. I did float the top lot
Oh, good. To him.
to them,
Oh, okay, good.
not to him.
Is that it?
Mhm.
Thank you. Any other committee meetings?
I didn't get notifications, so I'm not sure library met this month.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you. Topics on the floor tonight.
I did not receive any.
Okay. Set agenda for acceptance. Airport Committee meeting minutes for April 2022. Public Works Committee meeting minutes for July 2023. And Parks Committee meeting minutes for September 2023.
I move to accept the consent agenda for acceptance.
So moved. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Counselor Webb.
Chair Hobart,
Aye.
Counselor Ash,
Aye.
Counselor Wagner,
Aye.
Counselor Webb,
Aye.
Counselor Normand,
Aye.
motion carried.
Okay. Consent agenda for approval. City Council minutes for October 2nd, 2023, October 9th, 2023, and October 16th, 2023. Any discussion or questions?
I move to approve the consent agenda for,
So moved. Is there a second?
A second.
Counselor, seconded by Counselor Ash.
Aye.
Counselor Wagner,
aye.
Counselor Ash,
Aye.
Counselor Webb,
Aye.
Chair Hobart,
Aye.
motion carried.
Thank you. Any unfinished business tonight? Moving right into new business, Planning Commission application. Michaela Lomax, and I'm assuming you're Michaela? Yes, welcome. You're here.
So this is an application brought to you by the Planning Commission. Ms. Lomax had applied, she went to the Planning Commission, on her case. They were very pleased that she was an applicant and recommended
Yeah.
her approval.
Has,
Any questions?
any questions for Michaela? So with that being said, has the council reviewed the application and wish to have a unanimous consent to accept this application?
Yes, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Do we need a motion?
No, it's just with your guys' consent.
It's
Yeah.
just a
Trick of
consent.
points.
So with the unanimous consent from the Vernonia City Council, it's my honor to appoint you, Michaela Lomax, to the Planning Commission. Congratulations. Thank you for your service.
So I will let you know when the next planning commission meeting is, and I will actually do your oath of office just like tonight, so.
But you don't,
And you,
badge.
and you don't have to feel obligated to stay for the rest of the meeting if you have things to do.
But make sure you fill every seat.
Yeah.
Thank you again. And it's nice that you're here, where I can appoint you in person. It's kind of rare these days. Okay, report regarding property off G Street. 16 through 32.
So this is the report you guys had requested from code enforcement about this property that's been multiple complaints against off G Street.
Yeah, it's quite a report. Go ahead.
So I would like to say thank you for putting this together in chronological order and with all of the backup information. It was really helpful to be able to see the transition and what's occurred over the past several years.
Well, that's all Iwalani's doing.
Right.
So I'll let her know.
Yes.
So
Go ahead.
any of the complainants received this report?
No, not in their emails. We told them it would be on the website.
It's on, yeah,
Meeting.
it's on the site, so.
There's an extra printed one if you want it.
Yeah.
Right here.
You want one?
Yeah.
Thanks.
16.
16. Well, 17 is the real beginning of it.
Go ahead, Dale.
I too agree. Very good report. I think it points out some of the difficulties and, how this, what legal teeth the city has.
Yeah.
Again, somebody wants to camp on their property. My own cousin camps on a piece of property down by the river,
Lived there for 7 years.
Yeah, I don't know if this guy's lived there for 7 years either, but people, but again, I don't think under state law or city ordinance, we can prohibit somebody from camping on their own land. We can if you're in a trailer, we got jurisdiction there.
Or if you build
Builds
a
a-
shack for a structure, yeah.
Or if there's a nuisance. That's the thing that's got to be proven.
And from the right of way.
Well, yeah,
Don't-
in the right of way, that was an easy one there.
So I mean, you can only cite what you can see from a public right of way.
Right away. I think we've had more access to the land
Yeah, than that, yeah.
normally would have had because he allowed our enforcement officer to be on the property, and I think Sergeant's been there. It's a tough situation. I understand
So there's no ordinance or no anything that says that what these people are doing, and we're not just talking, of course, about just the property owner, we're talking about the other people that live there. So there's nothing that says that that's not allowed. As long as they're living in a tent, they can live there for 2 years, 5 years, 7 years.
Yep.
On private property.
Do you guys think about implementing something kind of ordinance that can do that?
Well, so-
Does it wind up being like the next Portland in Vernonia?
So the tricky thing is the state's got a right to rest law now that even further emboldens people even from camping on public property. And we can't herd them off of there. So we are developing an ordinance to address where we will not let them be for safety. Like they can't camp at the water plant, they can't camp at the sewer plant, they can't camp at City Hall or fee-based parks. But then you do have to designate a place that's public that they can rest. So there's a lot of state laws that if we'd be trying to fight state law if we went that way, which nobody's probably going to do now with the right to rest law, because that's in law now.
And so the fact that they don't have anywhere to use the bathroom is totally cool too, right? Like that's what
Well,
you're saying.
we kind of have to go on their word of what they're saying they are doing. So just like on Birch with them saying they're doing a compostable toilet, that's an honor thing. We don't have a right to enter their property because they don't have a structure we permit. That is that's the teeth that you can then have more say is if they're doing something that's a permitted activity, building a home.
They have nothing but junk back there, so nothing is permitted, it's just a bunch of.
Yeah, so the permits are what basically give us access is what I'm trying to say.
So
Permits.
people that are going through the proper channels, like building a home and going and getting all their county permits and everything they need, they're the ones that are gonna get dinged, but people that have, however many homeless people sleeping in tents within the city limits, they don't have to do anything. They can use the bathroom in the woods, which is literally feet behind our property line. And they can do whatever they want and nothing else. Like, it's just, I just don't understand. And you alluded to the fact that, what's Eva's position called?
Code enforcement.
Sorry, I always forget it. That code enforcement had visited the property 36 times. If they're doing nothing wrong, then why have they been visited 36 times?
Because of the complaints. Because of the complaints.
Well, we haven't complained 36 times.
Well, if you read the report, not you, but collectively, the neighbors around there, you can read it. It's chronological. Every time she got a call, she wrote down exactly what she did, where it went, who addressed it, whether they visited on site, whether they did. So it's all there in the 16 pages.
But if there's been 36 complaints that we know of to this point, nothing, I mean.
Well, he's been cited
Yeah.
for the nuisance stuff, because I'm the one who issued him the citations. Okay. That's all we can do. The rest of it's up to the justice court on whether he had to pay the fine or which route he had to go. That's up to the judge. So, but he has been cited several times.
And that's in there too.
On page 31, there's an overview and it pretty well lays it out what Sergeant just said. And, code enforcement has visited approximately 12 times, 5 times with law enforcement. So it's pretty well is a good overview of it.
I misspoke. I was meaning interactions, not actual visits, because I counted how many interactions she had on the thing. So I was wrong to say that.
Then I was okay to question 36.
Yeah, it was 36 interactions. Yeah.
That it was being recorded.
That you were appalled that you couldn't believe I said that in a public meeting.
I don't understand the recording.
Well, you brought that up.
You were just super annoyed with me that I questioned.
Yeah. Because
it's hard to believe that they've been there 36 times,
Yeah.
is all I said.
Yeah, and it was 36 interactions with him is what I was trying to say. I didn't.
Since 2016.
Yeah, for the last 5 years or whatever.
So
Or 8
they're
years.
just going to continue living back there and living their life, is what you're saying.
Until they do something that triggers us being able to actually cite them again for it, we have no reason to go up there. And like, we can go up to the right of way, look, make sure there's not anything on a regular basis, but unless there's something that triggers code, we can't just go on the property or.
So them driving the access right now in the mud and the dirt, it's not anything in the city.
I mean,
It's
that's
not
what
an
we were
Up
established
there for that, right?
Yeah, they were instructed not to. They could,
We're
they
still
could,
doing it every day. I mean,
okay.
like, but
Well, I
that's what
guess-
we were told years ago was that, hey, anytime you see them on that road driving, call in. Well, I wasn't gonna call in 500 times that I see a
Yeah.
car driving on that road, but I've probably seen them 500 times driving on that road. This week alone, they've been driving on that road. I mean, well, getting to the point where I don't think they could get up the hill, but they could drive to the steep part.
and they track that mud onto the asphalt city street.
Yeah,
So I guess I'm just trying to look for the reasons. I just want to hear why it's okay that they're up there. And that if there's nothing that anybody's going to do about it, then I'm going to, I suppose quit calling unless it's a problem. But if we're supposed to report if they're driving on that,
they shouldn't be driving on there. We've told them numerous times that they have to park on the street and walk up the right of way because it's unimproved.
I've done that one time.
they drive in there all the time.
Okay, well then I think that's something we need to address with them.
Okay.
Because,
Does Mr. Wagner, or the people living in the tents?
Mr. Wagner, I've watched
Oh, he
him
does,
personally drive
yeah.
his blue
Oh, he's
car.
not-
Or there's other people, like there was a pickup, I don't know, a month or two ago that came down that had like 2 or 3 people. There's somebody in the back of the pickup and I think there were 3 people in the pickup altogether.
Yeah.
No, there's different, I mean, that's the point, is that it's not just Mr. Wagner that's on the property, it's God knows who is back there.
yeah, I believe,
Well, is there any, it's
I believe,
because of the weather conditions right now and the damage to.
yeah, we could have them drop cement blocks right in front of it.
Put
Yeah.
some cement blocks.
Mhm.
Okay.
That's an easy fix.
It's not an actual.
But just past the driveway?
Yeah, just
A street.
past what driveway? The apron, you mean?
It's not improved,
Weller's driveway?
Yeah, it's next to, it's separate than,
and he knows that.
yeah, so we can put cement there.
Just
Yeah.
Sergeant, so in the report I read where when the property was surveyed a few times, that there was no evidence of where they're going to bathroom. There was no paraphernalia and.
Nope. And then when Eva asked, Mr. Wagner stated that he was using Anderson Park.
Yeah,
So,
believe.
exactly. I mean,
We have no,
Seeing any evidence, so then you can't act on that. I mean, you got to understand that part of it. I mean, and they were on the property looking, so.
Well, and there is drug paraphernalia back there. I mean, it's been witnessed by Frank, it's been witnessed by Steve. I mean,
so if you guys see something like that, grab a snapshot because
That's not my job.
well, I mean, if you want to prove that it's there because we're not seeing it. So we can only,
I mean, we're not down here complaining.
no, I know.
Horn in your side. We're down here because it's been a problem that nothing has changed in all the years they've been back there. There's drugs, there's random people, there's loose dogs, there's
Pit bulls.
all sorts of stuff going on back there. And yes, we have called, and it sounds like there has been some citations, but the problem still exists is that these people are right there.
Mm.
And it's not great.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating that we abide by rules and live in the city and pay our taxes and do everything that we're supposed to do, but yet right on the other side of our property line is a real mess.
Mhm.
And it's devaluing our home. We want to sell our house in a few years. Good luck.
Yeah.
Somebody goes and takes a walk back there.
Yeah.
It's very frustrating. So at a minimum, I would think that hopefully that you guys would develop some kind of ordinance or something that does prohibit what they're doing back there. Because they're not going to the bathroom at Anderson Park. They're using drugs back there. They're running generators and doing weird stuff through the night, like clanging and banging, and who knows what's going on back there.
Okay.
On the daily. So just looking for some help.
Okay.
Well, I understand your,
Totally understandable.
yeah, we understand your frustration. We're kind of stuck because we're not seeing, what?
The state law that you mentioned earlier.
No, I mean, we're
Can't do
we're kind of
anything.
hemmed in by the code. So we can go to the right edge of the right of way and look.
Things we can address, or if you can document that they're going to the bathroom there, the drug paraphernalia, if they're, like you say, I don't know where we are on the noise, if they're running generators all night.
All it takes is a recording.
I have gotten after 10 o'clock.
Recordings.
Yeah.
I did go over there and tell them they can't run the generator after 10 o'clock.
But you have to understand that, like the drug use, that's just a violation now, thanks to the legislature in Salem.
Yeah.
It has to be over an ounce. Okay. And so recreational use is just a violation. It's a $100 ticket. If they're making noise, I mean, the best we can do right now is issue citations. We can't get them to leave their property.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe if we give them enough citations, they'll get tired of living inside the city.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have other things to do also.
No, but it would help us, my department and my officers, if you guys can provide photographs of the needles or say they're using the bathroom or recordings of the generator, you know.
That's evidence that we can use for.
I personally won't walk back there. So just
Yeah.
like Eva, guess what? I'm not going back there by myself.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when I hear things or whatever, I stay on my side. I stay where I live. I'm not going back there. I don't know what goes on back there.
Yeah.
And I am by myself a lot and I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know what's going on back there. I'm not going to go back there and take pictures of anything.
Or-
But if you're saying they're not allowed to drive on that road, well, then we'll call every time we see them.
Or better yet, if you see from your property, if you see the drug paraphernalia or the noises or the generators going on,
Yeah, call non-emergency.
Give me a call.
Yeah, they can come and check it out.
so that I can come and record it and then issue a citation.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want you putting yourself in harm's way, so,
No.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Anybody else? No.
Well, yes, thanks for requesting the report.
Yeah.
Did you have something, Donald? Yeah.
Audit right-of-ways, since they haven't been developed, does that still allow us to have legal access to walk in there?
Yes. Any platted right of way is public property that we can cite from.
Just
Could be the one up top. What is that? E or no, I? We could go up I, we could come down, whatever that is along the right. We can walk in any of those and cite from those areas.
I see we did some abatement up there. Are we out that money or
No, he got,
collected? We collected?
yeah, the citation and yeah. He had to pay or is continuing to pay their time and the materials time to abate the mud with the straw.
Good.
And if we have to do it again, he may, depending on what it looks like right now, he may get cited again and they'll have to go back out there before we put the cement up and abate it so it doesn't run off mud into the road either. So yeah, we'll have to check it out tomorrow morning.
It's a pretty thorough report. I think we as a city have done our due diligence, I think.
I mean, without something that we can cite, it's hard.
Yeah.
Because not everybody, some people, what they call junk, I call junk, they call yard art. And so it's like, it's the code does not leave you with very many options.
It was a learning experience for me. So learn what we can and can't do.
Okay, any other discussion about that property? Okay, moving on to use of ARPA funds for manhole lining.
Okay, well, this staff report is from me and Chris Richardson, not Jeff Birch. Chris is here to answer your questions. So as you guys know, we've been investigating how to solve the groundwater infiltration and stormwater infiltration into the manholes. We started with Quarry Hill and the Clats at Bellagio, but we really have that issue in other areas all over town. So Public Works went and did a lot of review. We did the smoke testing, we did the vacuum testing, which we know that are just broken in the bottom and wouldn't hold suction, and a lot of investigating. They did find the company that will drill through and inject the expandable product that fills the void from the backside, and then it's cured by the groundwater. And that company has a going rate of $5,200 a day to come out and do as many manholes as they can do in a day with that project. We were hoping to have them for 10 business days where they would train our guys go alongside and train our guys so that we could do it on our own after they're gone. And then we have $3,500 in there for materials and mobilization. So we're requesting that we use that money out of the ARPA fund to get that project started. We're looking at December is when they could get us on their schedule if it's a go. Counselor Ash.
So do we have any estimate of how many they might hope to achieve in those 10 8-hour days of the 50?
Not really. So I'm hopeful that if we can have 2 staff with them and we can just have the list, we have the map, and I was walking around and looking at them with this superintendent for Oxbow Construction, and they're kind of big time, but he's from Nehalem and said, I know what it's like in a small town. How about instead of charging $2,400 a manhole, what if we just come out and do a day rate? And then he's willing to teach us, it's not some proprietary deal, and tell us the materials and stuff. And so
he thought he could do 2 to 3 depending on, they kind of guessed 2 to 3 depending on the damage, right?
Okay.
Some of them might just be one fault line we can see where it's stained that water's getting in, and that might be all it is for one manhole. It might be a light infiltration. Then there's going to be a heavy one that may take a few hours to do all of the infiltration.
Right.
So he couldn't really base a per manhole thing because they're all going to be specific to the damage.
So out of the 50, is there a list that's prioritized by condition where you're going to tackle the worst ones with them? Or is it just going to be like a certain area and knock them all?
The plan is to do the worst with them, and I'm not telling them that. But then I have like another list of 40 more that are like kind of bad. So
40 in addition to the 50?
Yeah, we have over 200 and something manholes in the city, so.
Okay.
So, yeah, if we can do the worst ones with them and say, well, what do you do here? And then get those done. And then maybe like the ones that aren't as bad, then we can do it in-house.
And the 3,500 is for us to buy supplies when we do it.
Okay.
Right?
That was
So it's their daily rate plus the MOB.
okay.
And then there's money in that remainder of the 35 for us to buy our own, whatever they use
To finish.
and buy our guys that same stuff. Yeah.
Okay. That was my next question are we enough to finish all 50 with or without them?
And then potentially what our plan is once we know what those materials cost, we will just be putting them in the budget for next year.
Mm-hmm.
So that we get the crack sealing materials and we get the meters, we're going to get whatever they need for that process.
Okay.
Chris, was this basically a result from the smoke testing and
combination of
that
and the vacuum testing,
vacuum?
and then just looking and seeing, some of them didn't, I had to go double check. And
Have you got a good chance in the last week with all the rain and
so that's
up on Clatsop?
Yeah, that's what they suggested, was waiting until December because the groundwater helps this material cure. And so we looked and it was, I don't know, September, August, and So there just wasn't enough groundwater right now, and you can't really tell where it's infiltrating until your water table's higher. So that's what we're thinking.
Okay. Yeah.
And you know where this is coming from. Is that Corey Hills, especially going to get some emphasis?
Yeah, it's on the map.
It's on the list, but I mean,
Yeah, I'm not trying, I mean, obviously Quarry Hill, there's a lot over there that need work.
Mhm.
but the worst of the worst up there,
Yeah.
we want, and get that first, we want to make, because of the Bellagio situation,
Yeah, we want to
help ourselves out here.
I mean, there's obviously condition showing up all over town, but if we know there's actual symptoms happening, it makes sense to factor that in.
Right.
Choosing which ones.
And I'd like to comment, this is exactly what I like to see from staff. They're collaborating together. I've been down talking to Ben. He's been telling me about all the work you guys have been doing and talking and thinking this through, building this plan. And that's what we need. Good work.
So with that being said, Counselor Webb, would you like to make a motion?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion, city council, that we direct staff to use ARPA funds in the amount of $55,500 to repair manholes as identified in the attached report.
I'll second that.
So moved and seconded.
Mayor Hobart,
Aye.
Counselor Norman,
Aye.
were you going to say something else?
I would like to, looking at this, I see there's some, I say as new manholes put in. They're on this map that maybe we're not inspecting, or who's ever installing them is not doing a very good job.
I don't believe there's, can you tell me where you're talking about?
How about weed by the senior citizens? There's two green ones there.
So that's the one at Cougar. And I don't know that that's new, right? That's the one we hooked up to.
Yeah.
That's not the new one. The new one's further down Weed. That one's at Cougar and it's old, but yeah.
There is a new one up on the new developments up in Louisiana.
Yeah.
You can see on I Street.
Yeah.
Okay.
A green dot up there. And so, yeah,
And then like 4th Avenue, it looks like there's one before it hits Bridge Street.
4th and Halem.
Halem.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's not very old and we're having to go in and repair it. That brings a warning up to me that maybe we need to make sure people are installing this stuff properly.
Yeah, I don't know if that one on 4th is the new development one or it's the one in the street.
There's a line that comes into it. I don't know if the whole manhole itself is new or if they just drilled and used
Piped in. We'd have to look at that one.
Because it looks like there's two dots. To me, it looks like there's two dots there, like there's two manholes real close to each other.
Yeah.
And I would assume one was an old one and one was a new one. I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'd have to pull up the data on it, like touch it and see what it pulls up. I know that Jonathan and Austin had done reviews. We have a manual where they go through and cite what the issues are with them. So I don't know what that one's deal is unless I touch it on the computer.
Right.
Yeah, but we could definitely look into those. And now maybe those were potentially put in, Donald, when we didn't have the engineer reviewing all the construction like we do now.
Right.
Because the engineers are now approving or not approving things as they get installed and constructed. So I'll have to look, but yeah. Have someone looking over that type of construction now.
I apologize, Counselor. Being asking a little prematurely. I didn't hear anybody else talk, so. Anybody else before we Vote on this motion. Okay,
Okay, Mayor Hobart,
aye.
Counselor Wagner, Counselor Norman,
Aye.
Counselor Ash,
Aye.
Counselor Webb.
Aye.
Business from departments, police department update.
So everybody got to meet Mr. Ratliff this evening. Hired him on October 18th. Already got him to CCOM, got him lead certified, CPR first aid, started FTEP, and then he's scheduled for the academy January 29th. So we should see him sometime in May. So,
My class was very concerned I was being arrested when you brought him down.
oh,
They were like,
introduced.
out there for 10 minutes talking to two cops in uniform.
What is up with you, Miss Ash? That's awesome.
Street cred.
You'd be like, I know two cops, don't mess with me, kid.
My second applicant just finished backgrounds, and so he's going to be heading to medical and psych. Don't think he's going to be able to make the January 29th class, but you never know. So that's what I'm shooting for, to send them both at the same time. But it's not up to me, it's up to DPSST. So other than that, I met with the Lions Club. As you all know, on the 4th, so this last Saturday, we did like a bicycle rodeo, bicycle education type program with Washco Bicycle Shop. They brought out a bunch of bikes. I think we gave out, or they gave away like 12. Didn't have quite the turnout that I was expecting because of the weather, but can't say that we didn't advertise it because we did. So everybody knew about it. But gave out a whole bunch of helmets. As a matter of fact, we ended up giving some bikes to the school to give away along with helmets. And I believe we have a box of helmets at the police department. So I met with the Lions Club, and Paula Hansen had said she was going to meet with the American Legion to maybe help out for the May class. Because I want to do this again in May for the 5th, 6th, and 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. So I haven't heard anything back yet from that because the police department paid for this one. So, and then Eva and I went up to Miss Brown's class and because she's doing her criminal justice course. And so we went up there for a day and kind of went over some of the laws and the hierarchy of courts, circuit court, justice court, that kind of stuff. Answered a whole bunch of questions. Scenario based, obviously, because of the kids. Let's see, what else? And for your packet, I went ahead and put in all the ORSs, the state ORS for failure to wear a bicycle protective headgear, and then also the citation ORS. So anybody under the age, if parents actually get the citation, and anybody up to age 16, they get the ticket themselves. The juvenile does. So that's about all I got.
Okay.
I have a question.
Sure.
So your bicycle rodeo, do they have like competition you have to do like the?
Obstacle course, yes. Yep.
I have to tell you, I remember that from when I was like in 4th grade, and that was the coolest thing ever. And I was very proud of that, and these kids made it fun enough though.
Yeah, we did it on the back covered area because that was the biggest because it was raining. And then we just had the registration, the bicycles, and then the helmet fitting right there at the entrance. So
I wish they still licensed bicycles because I still remember that too. That was a big deal as a kid, being able to get your license and your little sticker on your bicycle. It was a couple of years ago. Maybe
just a couple.
Just a couple.
Thank you, Sergeant.
Yes, thank you.
Ordinances and resolutions. Any correspondence tonight? Oh. City admin report.
Okay, so, sorry. The city admin report. So we got the SCA grant. I believe I told you guys that at our workshop. So once we get the actual contract signed from ODOT, or we sign the contract and they send us back the completed one, we'll be going out for bids for all of the Tree Street, chip sealing, and then the streets that were identified. Oh man, I'm not going to remember which ones we decided.
E, F,
H.
I think it's east and
and then a section of North Street.
that's right.
And, yeah,
Yeah.
and then a little piece of Lower Nehalem.
Yeah, a little piece of Lower Nehalem chip sealed. So once we have the contract signed, then we'll be going forward with getting our bids. Our goal would be to be on their schedule early as weather will permit in 2024. The cab visit, so we got our list today of what remains that we need to address for the community assistance visit from FEMA. I haven't had a chance to delve into it, but I will tomorrow. The docs, we're just waiting. December 15th is the date of the commission meeting when they'll approve the $186,000 for 2 new dock platforms, walk-on dock at Vernonia Lake. So we'll wait for that and then be really excited to get going on getting bids for that. The ADA project, so I had mentioned to you guys, ODOT's team came out and walked with us, and we talked about a whole bunch of new crossings to the highway that they're saying are required that we think are safety issues. So our engineer drafted a large report about line of sight, different danger things when we're basically telling kids to cross right at Rob's, which seems ridiculous as traffic's turning the corner at Bridge onto Rose and not seeing kids. Across at California seems ridiculous because we're coming down that hill from the fire station and you're on top of a kid before you see them. So we'll see hopefully the traffic safety division will take a look at it because we're super upset by the roughly 10 new ones that don't seem to be necessary. From the block of the Joy Theater to the Gray Bridge, there will be 4 crossings because they see Park Drive as an actual street that needs 2 crossings. It's that ridiculous. So that's what we're fighting. And then electrical projects, they've been doing the low voltage. The police in our IT budget was a new server for the police department because that is a CGIS requirement, that police data is not kept where public data is. So our electrician has done low voltage. They've pulled all the lines for the new CAT cables, and that project's moving forward. And we're still working on WOEC with the hot wire at the Vernonia light. I don't know why it seems like we can't, I'm just like, shut it down. Let us put the junction box in there and turn it all back on, for goodness sake. So Blake's working on that stuff, and he's still working on the one remaining light at the lake as we identified, the straight back one. And then I have just listed the upcoming meetings. We're closed this Friday for Veterans Day, and then we're closed the Thursday and Friday of Thanksgiving. We take that Friday off as staff in lieu of Columbus or Indigenous Peoples Day. We don't take that off. So do you guys have any questions for me?
Any luck getting the info for the cameras from Blue Mountain so we can keep that moving?
No, I got pushed to a new person. Luckily, I emailed the same person and got a new person.
Yeah.
So I've left them a voicemail, and I'm going to call again tomorrow, try and catch them. Like, what is the deal?
And then any interest yet in the RFP for the campground?
So I was sick all last week, and we did have one person show up for the non-mandatory meeting. and that firm is interested. And then I did have one person email about the plan holders list. So that's typically from like a clearinghouse, a construction clearinghouse that like gathers all the bids in an area and contractors sign up for their service to see all the bids in the area. So I don't think I'm going to send her the documents, but I don't think that's a specific person. I think she's trying to push product to her people. Great, maybe we'll get one. And then I don't know, I tried.
Easy choice if we only get one, I guess.
Right, and I tried to put a call in to Stubb to see who was the one that had designed there to try and.
Having like major admin overhaul.
Okay.
So that's
might-
why I wasn't able to get a hold of Aaron over like the span of an entire month.
Okay, so I might just call my higher ups at OPRD and say, do you guys have a list of campground designers? Because we want to get a good design.
Yeah. Okay. You want me to go down there? I can. That's the only way I got the rep for the.
Oh, to Stubb?
He was fabulous. But yeah, I had to literally drive there and be like, hello, I'm the one who's called and emailed you.
Okay, well, I might just drive up there one day.
Yeah, it worked.
Okay, I'll try it.
I don't know why.
Susan.
So I would have asked last meeting, but I wasn't here. So I know OBDD had asked for some clarification on your CDBG application. They wanted something taken out or added. Did you hear any further from them, whether they were? Okay, I mean, they were
okay with what we resubmitted, yeah.
Okay, and no further.
No, that was the one thing they want, it was something about the way our match looked or something.
Yeah,
we
very.
resubmitted it that next day, so.
Okay.
They got it.
The clock is ticking. I hate this point.
Yeah, it's stressful waiting to see.
Did you say OBDD?
Yeah, Oregon Business Development Department.
Thank you.
Or BO if you prefer.
Yeah, that's the other one they went with, which is a bad acronym. Business Oregon. Dale's got something. What's up, Dale?
Right now. Well, what we talked about today. Upon reviewing the walk the wheels ordinance a little further, it always helps if you sit down and, well, I think it's in front of us here right now, page 37. In that ordinance, it also includes Adams, Jefferson, Madison as side streets. And I understand the purpose of why they were doing that, because, especially where the store's at, but unfortunately that extends into residential areas. And I don't really know that was the intent, to keep kids from riding bikes in front of their house on those sidewalks that are not a hazard, because we're really trying to address the sidewalks where storefronts open right under a sidewalk and you got a bike. And
so downtown zone.
Yeah, the downtown zone. So we may have to amend, I would suggest as a council, we should probably look at this and maybe address that issue, probably have to amend that ordinance. And.
But it could be as simple as to terminate at Maple Street or something like that, where you're just keeping it to the downtown core and the houses further down each of those roads are not affected.
The city administrator suggested maybe we just have a workshop on that and firm up where we're at and what we want to do.
Or if you don't feel like there needs to be a workshop and you just want clarification, we could present to you at some point the ordinance with that little amendment of clarification for the off streets that are down that way. Either way.
It'd be easier.
I'm good with that.
And I'd be fine with that.
Yeah.
I think that was the intent and it just got missed.
We'll work it into the plans.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I got a consensus of councils for us to bring an amended version for you to review.
Yes, please.
Yep. Yes.
Any other questions?
That's for this. Josette. You Josette?
Yep.
Mayor and council discussion. I did attend a meeting over at the Columbia County Courthouse that I was invited to by Commissioner Magruder. Commissioner Kelly Smith was there. Columbia County Mental Health were there. Brian Pixie was there, and one of his deputies were there. We talked about the amendment, possibly amending Measure 110, repeal of it, and quite a lot of discussion that morning, 10 to 12, and it's a difficult one. And I think there's a lot of work that's being prepared for legislation this fall to go, to the Oregon legislation. Whether it gets on the ballot or not, I'm not sure. Betsy Johnson she was there too, I think. And I don't know if we gained anything. I mean, it's a big problem on the law enforcement side, and I've already kind of talked with Sergeant about this. They're totally against it.
Yeah.
And that was the view of our sheriff's department, I think, at the end of the meeting. But the repeal process, it does include, which is what I think, is they are going to criminalize it again to some extent. So that's going to be a little bit helpful, but I don't know. I asked where the history of it came, and it actually derived from out of state, a group out of state, and it's
Most of them come from.
and so unfortunately, so we'll see. But anyway, I don't know if it's going to go any further on a local level, but the district attorney that replaced Jeff, he was there. He's still interim. There was a lot of termination. I didn't understand legal stuff, but anyway, I spoke my piece, so that's all I have. Anybody else? Dale?
So Chris and Jonathan came down and helped me pull the screens at the lake, winterize the pump station. We'll sit there and wait till spring. We're a little overfull right now with all the rain. The leak, the last time I measured it, was just a hair over 10 gallons a minute, which is a huge improvement. Wow, that. So, and that's at overfull. I think we're 8.5 inches there on my thing, and I usually target down at 10. So yeah, looking good there.
Good.
And just a side note, we probably had one of the biggest coho runs in recent history just moved through in the last 3 days in the Halem system. So
Wow.
I think we're over 9,000 fish in my estimate. So
Wow.
yeah. So
What has it been in the last few years, Dale?
I think my highest on the coho has been around 5,000 fish.
Oh, wow.
Last year was bad.
What's that?
Wasn't last year, it was terrible.
Well, that was just Chinook. Was
Okay.
really bad. And it's been fortunate. I just barely could count them this year with this rain. I could still see them at the Rock Creek Falls. So hopefully they don't mess that up for me too much in the future. Probably
Right,
will.
right, they probably will.
Yeah, probably will.
Okay.
And those were the heat dome of 2020 fish too, survived that. So that was, to me, is very interesting.
Yeah,
That severe conditions and we still had a great run on it.
yeah,
I had grave concerns about that run. So anyhow,
because it was bathwater, their life, their
Yeah.
beginning, yeah.
yeah, they were juveniles in
Mhm.
the river that summer. So
It was warm.
yeah.
Thank you, Dale, and thanks for all the volunteer work you do for the lake. Thanks again. So I guess we're ready for an action item summary.
Okay. Sorry. So I'm gonna look into what other cities do with their electricity provider, if anyone's done kind of an agreement to use a certain type of bulb. Mark on the calendars that the meeting for parks will be the 5th Wednesday of November, and there will be no December meeting. We will go up and check the right-of-way, unimproved right-of-way off of G Street. And if abatement needs to take place, then issue a citation, abate the problem, put up cement barriers. And then staff's going to be bringing back ordinance 908 amended to address the side street terminations. Anything I missed? All right.
Just a reminder, you guys all have an email in your inbox for, what's that?
Core
Training.
For something.
system, core system.
Systems, yeah, it's
And then one,
testing for your guys' facilitator.
And Sasha.
and then one from Sasha that's asking you for a time when you'd be available to be individually interviewed prior to so they develop the training to benefit the most what we want.
And read the instructions as to when to set your appointment, because otherwise you'll get an email that says that was not one of your choices.
Oh, Susan,
So
you got it. That's not one of your choices, email?
read them briefly this afternoon, but are those in-person interviews or over the phone or what? Oh, over the phone, okay.
Or a Teams meeting.
Or if you want it to be like a Zoom, I can
Okay,
send you a link to join it on your computer.
okay. Well, anything else? I'll adjourn the meeting at 8:05. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you all for staying.
Frank.